There is a specific kind of man who walks into a room after 50 and commands it completely. Not because he's the loudest, not because he's wearing anything identifiable, not because anyone can name a single brand that he's carrying. It's simply because everything about his presentation communicates that he has arrived at a sense of himself, at a standard of dressing, at a level of quiet authority that requires no announcement. And then there's the other kind, equally well-intentioned, equally capable, dressed in things that were probably considered safe choices, and looking, despite every effort, entirely ordinary. Now, the difference between those two men is 6 specific style decisions. Today, I'm going to be identifying all 6, and also giving you the precise upgrade for each one. All right, let's go. Starting with number 1, the boxy low-rise corporate chino. The flat front low-rise beige chino from any mall brand is the single most common piece of clothing in the over 50 male wardrobe. And it's producing a specific set of visual problems that most men have been living with for so long that they've stopped noticing them. Here's what a low-rise chino does to the body after 50. The waistband, it sits below the natural waist, often below the stomach, pushing the fabric outward and down. The crotch hangs low between the thighs, visually shortening the leg by 3 to 4 inches. The excess fabric bunches at the ankle. The overall silhouette reads as top-heavy, compressed, and slightly shapeless. Not because of the body underneath, but because the trouser geometry is communicating all of these things independently of the body's actual proportions. The upgrade is immediate and geometric. High-rise Hollywood top or Gurkha trousers, worn at the natural waist near the navel. At this position, the dense trouser fabric sits above the stomach and smooths it rather than being pushed outward by it. The leg line begins the correct anatomical point. The crotch sits where it should. The legs read as long. The midsection reads as controlled. This one trouser decision changes the geometry of the entire lower body. It is the highest return style change available to a man over 50, and it requires nothing except finding the right construction. All right, number 2, the starch check shirt. The heavily ironed, check pattern woven dress shirt that's worn untucked over jeans or chinos is one of the most recognizable uniforms of the over 50 male wardrobe. And by the way, it's also one of the clearest visual signals of a man who stopped making style decisions at a specific point in his career and has been wearing the same solution ever since. The problems are structural. Heavy starch, it creates rigidity. The shirt sits away from the body rather than draping against it, creating a boxy, slightly inflated quality that adds visual volume rather than controlling it. The check pattern, particularly at smaller scales, it creates visual noise near the face that draws attention away from the man rather than toward him. And worn untucked over trousers, the shirt hem creates a horizontal interruption at the hip that shortens the leg line and widens the midsection simultaneously. The upgrade replaces all of these with one decision: the long-sleeve knit polo or a capri collar shirt in high-grade Italian knit, Sea Island cotton, silk cotton blend, fine merino. These fabrics drape against the shoulder rather than sitting away from it, creating a softer, more athletic silhouette that communicates physical ease rather than workplace formality. The knit molds to the shoulder structure naturally, following the body's actual geometry. The capri collar rolls beautifully and stays in position without collar stays, without stiffening, without any intervention. It creates the sprezzatura V shape under a jacket lapel that makes an outfit look considered without looking constructed. This is the shirt that makes everything above and below it work better. Number 3, the Tech Sole Comfort Shoe. The hybrid dress shoe with a leather upper glued to a chunky white orthopedic athletic sole. The bright neon running trainer worn for daily errands. These are the footwear choices of a man for whom comfort has completely overridden every other consideration. And they communicate exactly that to everyone in every room that he enters. The specific damage here is geometric. A chunky, white, visually heavy sole, it creates a visual stop at the floor. The eye travels from trouser hem to shoe and then terminates there, at the loudest, most visually prominent element of the entire outfit. The leg looks shorter. The silhouette looks heavier. And the quality of everything above, regardless of how well chosen, is undermined by the shoe communicating that the man stopped caring at the ankle level. The upgrade is unlined reverse calf suede loafers. And this is where the comfort argument collapses completely. Unlined suede loafers that are built on a quality last are as soft as slippers from the first wear. They require no breaking in period. They mold to the foot within days. They provide the ease of a casual shoe with the visual sophistication of formal footwear. Number 4, the padded dad blazer. The heavily structured blazer with thick shoulder padding and a low armhole is the garment that most clearly illustrates the difference between dressing for an era and dressing for a body. These jackets were correct for a specific period, the broad, padded, power shoulder aesthetic of the 80s and early 90s. On the body of a man over 50, worn in 2026, they do something a little bit more specific and consistent. The thick shoulder padding creates a horizontal shelf across the upper body that the man's actual shoulder no longer fills completely. The jacket is imposing its shape on the body rather than following it. The heavy structure, it makes the wearer look like he's inside the jacket rather than wearing it. And the low armhole, cut generously to be able to fit a range of shoulder widths, it causes the entire jacket to lift when the arm is raised, disrupting the silhouette with every single movement. The upgrade is the Neapolitan unstructured sport coat, built on the spalla camicia construction. The sleeve is inserted under the shoulder fabric with slight shirting pleats, grinza, that allow the arm complete freedom of movement without lifting the jacket body. The shoulder seam sits exactly where the shoulder bone ends and follows the natural slope of the individual shoulder, rather than imposing a standardized silhouette. Quarter-lined or completely unlined, reducing the thermal mass of the jacket to almost nothing in warm weather. Crafted from a wool-silk-linen blend that has enough texture to read as sophisticated and also enough drape to move like a second skin. This jacket does not wear the man, it completes him. Number 5, the technical outerwear obsession. The shiny nylon windbreaker, the technical hiking fleece that's worn to a business lunch, the branded Gillette that has become the default outer layer for every occasion, from a morning meeting to a weekend dinner. These are garments that belong in specific active outdoor contexts, and that create a specific consistent visual problem when worn everywhere else. The problem is texture discordance. Technical nylon and synthetic fleece, they have a visual language. Performance, utility, waterproofing, the outdoors. When that visual language appears alongside tailored trousers, quality leather shoes, and a refined shirt, the combination sends contradictory signals. The technical fabric doesn't elevate the outfit, it drags it into its own register. And that register is the golf course, not the room that you're actually in. The upgrade is a material exchange that requires no change in silhouette, warmth, or utility. Buttery goat suede in a bomber or field jacket construction. The Valstar model, specifically, which has been the benchmark of this category ever since it was created. Or heavy Irish linen in an unlined M65 field jacket in olive or tobacco. Both provide identical utilitarian function. Both are completely comfortable, and both have the specific matte light-absorbing quality that communicates sophistication rather than announcing active outdoor preparation. The suede bomber or linen field jacket over a knit polo and high-rise trousers is one of the most effortlessly wealthy casual combinations available to a man over 50. The technical Gillette over the same outfit, that's a different category of man entirely. And finally, number 6, loud logos and contrast stitching. The polo shirt with the massive embroidered logo across the chest. The designer jeans with heavy contrasting white stitching on the back pockets. Stitching so prominent that it functions as branding even without a label. These details share one specific function. They're designed to be read, to communicate from a distance that the wearer spent money on a recognizable brand. Well, after 50, this communication strategy reveals the opposite of what it intends. A man who has genuinely arrived, professionally, personally, in terms of his own self-knowledge, he doesn't need his clothing to announce his spending. The logo is a signal of aspiration, of someone who's still trying to prove something, of a man whose confidence requires external validation from the brand that he's wearing. The upgrade is complete and deliberate anonymity. Zero exterior branding, zero contrasting stitching, nothing that can be read, identified, or priced from across a room. The entire visual conversation shifts to the quality of the raw material. Because when there's no branding to look at, the eye goes directly to the fabric. And the fabric is where genuine quality lives. Slubby linen with natural surface variation. Silk blend knitwear with a subtle sheen that photographs as nothing and reads in person as everything. Solaro fabric, shifting color in sunlight. These are the materials that communicate wealth without requiring any assistance from a logo. They speak a language that only certain people can read. And that is precisely what makes them powerful. The man in the logo shirt is hoping to be recognized. The man in the anonymous linen, he's already been seen. Ordinary is not a failure of taste. It's a failure of information. Most men making these 6 mistakes are trying. They're choosing what seems safe, what seems appropriate, what seems like a reasonable solution to the practical problem of getting dressed. The problem is that safe solutions produce ordinary results. And ordinary, after 50, is the one outcome worth actively avoiding. These 6 upgrades are not complicated, they are specific. Apply them, one at a time, in order of most impact, and the cumulative result is a man who looks like that he made a series of deliberate, informed, completely effortless decisions. Which is exactly what happened. Gentlemen, drop in the comments which of these 6 are you going to be addressing first. Also, subscribe if you're not already here, and I'll see you in the next one.